Hello everybody and welcome back to Red Eagle Politics. Make sure you like this video down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. So Donald Trump has his first challenger for the 2024 presidential race, or should I say the first major challenger within the Republican Party. Nikki Haley, the former UN ambassador and former governor of South Carolina, has jumped in the presidential race, which honestly is laughable. I've talked about why already in several videos over the past month when it was widely speculated that she would jump in the presidential race, but now she officially has. She's announcing her run. She genuinely believes that she's going to be president, or maybe not, and that's really what it comes down to. But either way, it's laughable. I think the establishment is using her as a vehicle to beta test among the more establishment side of the Republican voter base to see if she resonates, because she would be their preferred choice over Trump and DeSantis. But it's very evident that it's still likely going to come down to a Trump versus DeSantis race. And it's also very evident that all of these other people, like Nikki Haley, John Bolton, Tim Scott, Mike Pompeo, who are either throwing their hat in the ring or thinking about it, are definitely vying for some sort of position. They're going to drop out of the race before or right after one of the first few primaries, and then they're going to endorse DeSantis, or maybe in the case of some of these people, Trump, hope that they win the nomination, whoever they support, and just pray that they get a VP slot, or maybe a Secretary of State position, or a Secretary of Defense position, or whatever. That's what they're trying to do. I don't believe Nikki Haley is in this to win this. Maybe she's going to test it out, but right now she's polling at what, like 3-4% at most. It's laughable. And Donald Trump already took aim at Nikki Haley, outlining a lot of her career blunders and things that would hold her back in a Republican primary. For example, she said that Hillary Clinton was her initial inspiration to run for office. I didn't even know about this until today, and I've researched Nikki Haley quite some time. But apparently, she said that the only reason why she ran for office was because of Hillary Clinton. She supported getting rid of Medicare and Social Security. You talk about electability, and if that's going to be her argument, that's already out the window. Especially in a lot of these swing states that have a lot of retirees like Arizona, not going to impact her very well there. But furthermore, there's plenty more that Trump highlighted. She also went out of her way to stoke the flames of fire in the Ukrainian-Russian conflict. She also is weak on immigration, does not even support a border wall even. And she's very pro-legal immigration, would probably vote to increase the number of legal immigration, or at least would sign a bill on her desk that would. It would not really end well. She also did not support the transgender bathroom bill the way that they did in North Carolina, despite North Carolina being a lot less conservative than South Carolina. And I know Trump had been weak on the issue before, but it seems like he's evolving on that as well, which is a good thing. We like to see movement to the right on these issues. And Trump also highlighted her flip-flop. She said that she would not run for president back in 2021, said she would have supported Trump if he chose to run again. Now she is backtracking. Why is she doing that? Probably vying for a VP slot for somebody. She blows the way the wind does. It's very apparent. She's completely owned by the GOP donor class. She's a globalist, and it would not pan out too well in a general election. Which brings us to this election prediction. We haven't done one of these on this channel in a while, but what would the electoral map look like between Nikki Haley if she somehow won the Republican nomination going up against Joe Biden? Would she even beat Biden? Biden, who has an approval rating in the mid-40s at best, low 40s, is probably where it's going to be at. It stayed around there for his entire presidency. It should be a lot lower. I agree. But can Haley even beat that? We'll see. Let's fill out the states here. This assumes Donald Trump does not run third party as well, because that would basically really shake things up and possibly make Nikki Haley lose by an even bigger margin. But she's going to win the safe red states. These states voted for Romney. They voted for McCain. They would still vote for her. Maybe not as enthusiastically. She might not do as well in some of them. We'll even give her South Carolina. So there you go, 125 electoral votes. Alaska's getting close even, especially given the new voting system, which I don't believe impacts the presidential race a whole lot. But still, either way, it's not going to be like a cakewalk for Haley. Haley's going up against Biden, who will likely win a lot of the safe blue states. It's not like Haley's going to expand the coalition into the Northeast or into the Rust Belt. No, she's not. In fact, it's going to be very bad for her. She'll lose Colorado by a safe margin. She'll lose New York by a safe margin. She'll lose Maine's 1st district, probably Maine at large as well, by a safe margin there. So she's down there at 125. We'll give Biden the state of Hawaii. That'll put him up to 193. So let's fill out the rest of these states here. Where would Haley exactly manage to pad her electoral totals? Probably Texas. Again, you talk about the suburbs and DFW and Houston. They kind of like those squishy Republicans to a certain extent. She wouldn't win the state of Texas by Bush or Romney margins because Texas has changed, but she would probably win the state nonetheless. So she would get Texas. She would also probably get Florida by some margin as well, especially because the state is a solidly Republican state. She wouldn't win it by a ridiculous margin. Maybe she would win it by 5 the way that it seems like the state is going. I think Trump and DeSantis would both win Florida by more than what Nikki Haley would win it by, so it doesn't exactly matter. So you talk about those states in the likely Republican column. Maybe you could make an argument for Iowa because the state GOP there tends to be a lot more competent than these other states that are moving right, such as Pennsylvania, Michigan, to a lesser extent Wisconsin, which are notorious for being incompetent. But either way, I still think because of her stances on trade, immigration, she's a globalist, Iowa would be closer than it would for Trump or even somebody like DeSantis, who is a more skilled politician compared to Nikki Haley. It's not even close. And I think that's probably the only thing that a lot of the Trump and DeSantis 2024 people can agree on, is that the Nikki Haley people are delusional. Although there are some of the like never Trump or DeSantis types that are shilling for Nikki Haley, and those people are just the lowest of the low when it comes to politics on the right. And they just shill for the establishment. They just shill for it. And Nikki Haley is somebody who's perfectly emblematic of that. So I think Haley would lose New Mexico and Virginia by close to 10, if not even more than that. Minnesota, that's up in the air. We'll be nice here. We'll put it in the likely D column. Very well could be safe. And it seems as if we could also put Michigan and Pennsylvania in that column as well, mainly because of the fact that the state parties themselves don't really have a turnout apparatus, and Haley is not somebody that inspires turnout to the degree that Donald Trump would. Biden has an apparatus in Pennsylvania, Michigan. Those states are going to go blue regardless, even if the economy's in turmoil, because that is how bad of a candidate that Nikki Haley is. And thankfully, she'll never get the nomination. This video, you could argue, is just for fun. We'll also throw New Hampshire into the likely D column as well. So Biden's already on the verge of 270 electoral votes. So we'll fill out the rest of this map. I think that Haley probably would win Maine second, narrowly, but that's only because of the fact that you already have strong Republican performances there. I think Ohio as well would probably go Republican, but it's not going to go Republican by a whole lot. And I think with Haley at the top of the ticket, somebody like Sherrod Brown probably would manage to get by in the state of Ohio. Wisconsin would be closer than the other Rust Belt states, but I still think it would go to Biden. Haley would do just fine in WOW and the counties surrounding Milwaukee, which are more ancestrally Republican, but would probably bomb in the Driftless area, might even lose a couple of counties there. This is the unrealignment. Nebraska second is probably going to be close. I still think Biden would win it because of trends, which would get him to 270. North Carolina, that one's up in the air. Since Haley is from South Carolina, she could probably find a way to win it. Coalition's going to look a little bit different than Trump's or even DeSantis's would look like in the state. The state of Georgia, that one would, I think, go to Haley very narrowly because of the fact that she would just constantly focus all of her appeal to the suburbs and women, which, again, might get her like 1% there. And that's about it. And that doesn't work. It's not going to win you a presidential election, but it might, give you Georgia for, I guess, one more election cycle, especially because she was from South Carolina, which is close by. She'll get the border states to that. But when it comes to Arizona or Nevada, Nikki Haley's not going to do well with Hispanics. I mean, she'll probably pander to them relentlessly and get literally nothing in return. I don't believe she'd win Arizona. You look at the party base there, and the neocons and the establishment will say it's a neocon state. But the base is pretty much divided. You look at all the primary results we've seen out of the state for quite some time. This is a state where I think you would do best in if you appeal to all wings of the GOP. Haley does not do that. I don't believe she would win. I think it would be very close. I think Biden would narrowly take Arizona. Demography is also changing. Hobbs is in control now, which definitely would help Dems in the state, something that no matter who the nominee is, they're going to have to overcome that. Now, the state of Nevada, I think that one probably would stay with Biden narrowly. Nikki Haley would end up losing to Biden by a margin of 251 to 287. It's very possible if you talk about a bottoming out or a worst case, North Carolina, Georgia. Could you imagine even if Ohio goes back? I don't even think that's going to happen, but it could get really ugly really quickly. And this is something Republicans need to understand. Do not nominate Nikki Haley. Nominating the neocon does not always grant you an election victory. In fact, at the national level, it rarely ever does. And this is true. And she doesn't really have that massive appeal. You'd see a wide third-party candidate who would attack both Haley and Biden. I'm not going to be saying that it would be Trump. It might be somebody that we don't exactly know. But either way, it would be a total disaster. And I'm just going to sit back here and laugh as this whole clown show unfolds and the clown car gets even bigger in terms of the amount of clowns in the clown car. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. Like this video down below, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications so you never miss another video. Follow me on social media. The links are all in the description down below. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Red Eagle, out.